Lego Batman games have been some of my favorite games my entire life. I mean, how could it not be? Gaming, Batman, and Lego. Three of my favorite things as a child just mushed together. I've always been wondering, how well does it actually hold up as a Batman adaptation? Now before we start, there are two things that need to be cleared up. First off, what actually is an adaptation? Something produced to adjust to different conditions or used to meet different situations. Yeah, that. And secondly, we need to put some parameters in place for this video. Otherwise, it's going to be really long. Now, I'm only gonna look at some of the comics that came out before the game and that might have inspired the game in one way or another, such as the Killing Joke, and many more from the different eras of Batman. I'm also gonna look at the movie which the game is heavily inspired by, the Tim Burton 1989 Batman movie. But I will mostly be looking at the general core ideas and characteristics of Batman. Not how it started off back in the 1930s or 40s, with the weird spin-offs along the way, but how he has been betrayed for the majority of his 84-year career. So for all you uncultured people, what is Lego Batman The Videogame? Well, Lego Batman The Videogame is a video game, made by TT Games in collaboration with Warner Brothers that came out in 2008. Now I don't really have time to go through the entire story of the game, but luckily it doesn't really matter anyway, as it isn't really a big strong suit of the game. But let me just speed through it really quickly. So, the game is split into two sides. We have the good guy side and the bad guy side. The good guy side where we follow Batman and Robin, good guys, stopping the evil schemes of the villains. And the other side, we have the bad guy side, where we follow the villains, the bad guys, through their perspective of the story as they set up their evil schemes. Now, each of the sides is split into three parts. We got the Riddler story, the Penguin story, and the Joker story, each one following a different group of villains. And these parts are themselves split up into 5 different levels. First, we got the Riddler enlisting the help of Two-Face, Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, and Clayface to rob the Gotham City gold reserves, but the last minute being stopped by Batman and Robin. Secondly, we've got the Penguin recruiting Catwoman, Bane, Man-Bat, and Killer Croc to help him take over the city by using remote-controlled penguins, and rinse and repeat, they get taken down by Batman and Robin at the last minute. Last but not least, we have the Joker, with the help of his lover, Harley Quinn, of course, recruiting the Scarecrow, Mad Hatter, and Killer Moth to help him destroy the entirety of Gotham City by releasing his deadly Joker toxin from Gotham City Cathedral. I think you can guess what happens next. Everyone in Gotham dies. Nah, just kidding. They are stopped by Batman and Robin at the last minute. And that's basically the entire story of the game. Now, a more interesting aspect of the game is that they tell this story without the use of dialogue. Yeah, you heard me. There are no voices in the game. The most you will hear are some very descriptive grunts and noises coming from the characters. But we'll come back to that later. Now, as previously said, Lego Batman and its world is heavily inspired by Tim Burton's Batman, but most specifically in the world's aesthetic, look, and how the city is built up, but also the music. Oh god, the music. It's so good. Just listen to this. It really makes you feel like Batman, which I think is what a Batman game should do. Okay, but let's look closer into it. What actually makes a good Batman adaptation? The purpose of an adaptation, at least according to poemanalysis.com, is to expand from the original idea in a new way by taking bits and pieces from one medium and making something new in another, but that still embodies some of the same principle of the original. It is good because it allows the story to be told in a new way, which means more people are exposed to the story and can come to appreciate the original. Now, what I feel a good Batman adaptation should do is to, 1, make you feel like you're playing Batman. Not Spider-Man, not Superman, not Iron Man, or any other superhero for that matter. This includes both the characteristics of the character and the surrounding world. For example, in this case, Gotham should not feel like any other city. Not Metropolis with all its sunshine and happiness. It should feel like the kind of run-down, slightly corrupt, always bad weather and nighttime Gotham that we come to know and love. The home of the Batman. The music and sound design should fit the tone and make you feel like it accompanies a sort of broody detective superhero with parental issues who beats up criminals in the streets during the night. But who can also save and comfort an innocent child. Because, as overly sarcastic productions once said, if you can't imagine your Batman comforting a scared child, then you haven't written Batman. You've written Punisher in a silly hat. If you can get these things down, then congratulations! You're on a pretty good way to making a good Batman adaptation. But a big factor in making an adaptation, and knowing if you have adapted the source material in a good way, deeply depends on, well, what source material you have chosen. There's been so much Batman lore over the years. He's been around for 84 years. He has had so much material written about him. So many comic books and stories. There have been well over 2,000 comics released across about maybe 6 or so reboots. This is, however, between 1939, Batman's first appearance, till now. While Lego Batman The Videogame was released in 2009, there's still a lot to choose from. So what is the game based on? When I first started making this video, I mainly wanted to focus on comparing the game and look at how accurate it is to the comics. However, while going through and writing this video, I soon realized that it's less of a perfect comics Batman adaptation, and more of a perfect adaptation of the culmination of all Batman media. You may be asking, how did you reach this conclusion? First of all, thank you for asking. Secondly, let me lay out some of the evidence I've found so far. In all 3 of the last levels of the 3 different parts, remember those I talked about a couple of minutes ago? All 3 of them take place at a different location in a different Batman movie, with team-ups from each respective movie, which are all collectively part of the Burtonverse. Yes, that's what it's actually called. Riddler's Revenge ends with only Riddler and Two-Face being left. The exact team-up as in Batman Forever. Okay, they're never really in Gotham City's gold reserves in the movie, but they're in a bank once. That counts, right? Anyway, in Power Craze Penguin, we have the Penguin teaming up with Catwoman, just like in Batman Returns. And the last level takes place in a certain Gotham Zoo. Specifically, the Arctic part of it is used in both the game and the movie as Penguin's hideout. Lastly, we have the Joker and Harley Quinn in the Gotham City Cathedral, just like in Tim Burton's Batman. Well, almost. Another level in the first part of the game also brings back a location from the movies. In the level, An Icy Reception, we are brought back to Snowy Cone's ice cream factory. The same place Mr. Freeze spends a lot of time at in Batman and Robin. The references and inspirations are not just from the movies, however. At the start of each level, we're faced with a screen with text talking about the villain we face in the level. Some of these texts are entirely based on their origins and characterizations from the comics, while others derive from other sources, such as, for example, Mr. Freeze and Harley Quinn. Both of their origins originate from Batman the Animated Series. We also have characters mostly only found in the comics at the time. And there are secrets you can buy which reveal more lore of the world and the DC universe, all of which are entirely based on different comics. All of these things contribute to the game being such a good adaptation. They take lore and information from all sorts of Batman places, and you do not have to know anything beforehand to play it, since the game basically tells you everything you would need to know, sometimes without them telling you. They portray the characters rightfully, giving them all these little idle animations they have and how they appear in the cutscenes. I think this is what's so perfect about the game. Its purpose. The purpose of Lego Batman is to make you like the world of Batman. It's to make you want to learn more about Batman. And it gives you a great starting point. It is baby's first Batman. Literally, since it's a Lego game. Lego Batman is a culmination of all different types of Batman media that has come before it. It brings elements from the comics, from the movies, and even TV series, all weaved together into one great Lego game. A baby's first Batman game. A game perfect for getting someone into the Batman world and lore. A game that makes you want to learn more about Batman through stellar scenery, sound design, gameplay, and lore. A perfect Batman adaptation.